Hey folks, this is Kalani. I know we just covered a whole round of class changes, balance tuning, buffs and nerfs, but oh boy, Blizzard were hiding something special in the wings. They pushed some hotfixes through to the beta server, so this was done kind of randomly, just as raid testing was starting, and these hotfixes include a crazy amount of nerfs. Some of these nerfs are insane too. We got 30% or 40% damage decreases on main abilities, and it's not just one class or spec, and it's not just one or two abilities. These nerfs are very heavy-handed, so we're going to see who just got taken down quite a few notches, and spoiler alert, boomkins are definitely not going to be happy. We also have a lot of changes to set bonuses, including brand new set bonuses for a few classes, and Mythic Plus rewards have been increased yet again. So we have quite a bit to talk about. Now before we jump in, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss another video. Let's kick things off with these balance tuning changes because these are going to be very significant. There are some massive nerfs coming through for demon hunters, druids, paladins and rogues. So these are on top of the other class changes that happened in this week's build. If you missed those, I'll give you a link in the comments so you can get caught up. There were some really big changes in there as well. Let's look at the Demon Hunters first. To start with, the leech you get from meta form has been halved, so that's a little sad, but then meta's duration was slightly reduced. Bonus damage to various abilities has been nerfed as well, including Chaos Strike, Fell Rush, Momentum, and Essence Break. Furious Gaze won't last as long. The Shattered Destiny talent was nerfed slightly. Dancing with Fate was nerfed. There's a variety of effects that will reduce the overall outgoing damage of Immolation Aura as well. So nerfs across the board for Havoc Demon Hunter, especially for quite a few of those AoE abilities. Up next are the Druids, and it's only balance getting whacked with the nerf bat for these changes, but oh boy what a nerf bat it is. Orbit Breaker triggers every 30th shooting star, up from 20. Astral Communion generates 60 astral power, down from 75. Arcanic Pulsar triggers after 600 astral power spent, up from 300, which is a huge nerf to that talent overall. Sundered Firmament creates a Fury of Elune at 20% effectiveness, down from 25. Elune's Guidance reduces the astral power cost of Star Surge by 5, down from 10, and Starfall by 8, down from 15, so that's been halved. Rattle the Stars reduces the cost of Starfall and Star Surge by 5% per stack, down from 10% per stack. Star Surge itself costs more astral power baseline, 40 up from 30, and its damage was reduced by a whopping 35%. Starfall damage was also tanked by 35%, and shooting stars generate less astral power, and their damage was nerfed by 50%. So their astral power generation has been nerfed quite significantly, especially when you combine this with the earlier changes this week. Their astral power costs have increased, anything that reduced costs has been nerfed, and their damage has been nerfed massively on top of all of that. It's definitely not a good day for the laser chickens. Then we come to the paladins. I know Retribution is in a weird place, partly because players don't seem to like talent choices or layouts, but partly because they have been destroying damage meters on the beta regardless of that. They have been doing so much damage, so these nerfs aren't exactly surprising, but sadly no class concerns have really been addressed either. Greater Judgment was nerfed to 20% increased damage, down from 25%. Seal of Crusader was nerfed down to 3 and 6%, down from 5 and 10%. Divine Purpose was nerfed down to a 15% increase, down from 20%. And Zealot's Paragon extension was also halved down to 0.5 seconds. For Retribution specifically, Templar's Verdict and Final Verdict damage was significantly reduced. Zeal only applies to your next 2 attacks, down from 3 attacks. Ashes to Dust is now a 20% chance to reset Wake of Ashes, down from 35%. Execution's sentence damage was also halved, and Templar's Vindication was nerfed down to a 15% chance to trigger a 10% or 20% Templar's Verdict, so the chance and the damage were both reduced. In addition to that, they also tacked on another nerf just after these notes went through to reduce the damage of Divine Storm by 35% as well, so just in case you thought your precious AoE was safe, they go and slam that down too. And then sneaking in at the end there, the Light of the Titans healing was reduced by 25% for prop paladins. So massive nerfs to damage and some nerfs to various effects and abilities that helped with extra damage or free resets for Ret specifically. Pretty crazy changes overall. And then the last class with big changes today are the rogues. At least these ones aren't strictly all nerfs, though we do start with quite a few negatives here. Alacrity has been nerfed down to 1% per stack from 2% per stack. Thistletee Mastery was reduced by 20%, and Find Weakness Armor was nerfed down to 15 and 30%, down from 20 and 40%. For Assassination, things get a bit wonky. All abilities have been nerfed by 34%, but Rupture was increased by 22%. Then we have nerfs for a variety of other effects and abilities, but a huge buff to Deathmark, 227% increase there, which is insane. Tiny Toxic Blade bonus damage increased up to 500% from 300%. Poison Bond damage increased by 200%. Sepsis damage increased by 60%, and Kingsbane damage increased by 50%. So there are some massive shifts here for Assassination. That's not all though. Outlaw will also see a 14.5% reduction on all abilities, along with the nerfs to various other effects. Sadly, there aren't any buffs to offset these nerfs for Outlaw, so it's all just a big decrease right now. And with the previous changes, like removing Restless Crew, Outlaw is definitely going to be in a bit of a sore spot overall. And then tacked on at the end, we also have a 17% damage nerf to all subtlety abilities, so rogues in general are going to get knocked down quite a few pegs. I'm honestly not too sure what to say about these changes, because some of them are so heavy-handed that they simply have to be reverted or balanced back the other way. You can't take that much damage off a class or spec and expect them to keep up with everyone else, especially when you nerf every aspect of how that class plays and works. It's like they decided to just stop trying to fine-tune things and just swing a sledgehammer around and see what happens. A 35% reduction doesn't really feel like tuning. That feels like nerfing something into the ground and seeing if it even survives. But there are actually more changes to talk about here, which in some cases nerf the classes even further. So these next changes are all about set bonuses. We have our first round of updates and even replacements for set bonuses already, which is quite surprising really, because we only just saw these for the first time recently. We start with the Balanced Druids. The 2 set now increases Wrath or Starfire damage by 20% per stack, down from 50% per stack, which is a huge nerf overall, and then the 4 set was changed to be a 35% damage boost to Starfall and Star Surge, down from 50%. So it looks like every aspect of a Balanced Druid in Dragonflight has taken quite a beating with this week's changes. Feral Druids actually get a buff here. The 2 set was increased up to 6% from 5%, and the 4 set was replaced by a 2% damage increase per combo point spent on your bleeds, and then a 2% crit chance increase on your non-bleeds. That should hopefully prove to be quite a strong bonus overall. Guardian Druids saw some changes too. The 2 set gives your Mangle an AoE component, which is nice, and includes a 5% damage reduction buff to come in line with all the other tank sets. And then the 4 set increases the chance for Gore to trigger, and Mangle heals you over time. Resto Druids also seem to have gotten a nerf to their 4 set. Bonus Life Bloom power proc can only proc from each tick of efflorescence, and the Life Bloom increase is 5% down from 10%. Hunters actually saw some changes this time too. Their Beast Mastery 4 set was changed to increase Barb Shot damage by 5%, and Barb Shot increases the damage of your next kill command by 20%, which could be a huge set bonus for Beast Mastery in general. Marksmanship was updated as well. The 2 set was buffed up to 40% bleed damage, up from 20%, but it no longer reduces the cast time of aim shot, and then the 4 set increases the chance for this to trigger by 15%, up from 10%. Survival was buffed too. The 2 set is now 15%, up from 10%, and the 4 set chance to trigger was increased to 20%, up from 10%. So some nice little buffs there too. Windwalker Monks also got an updated 4 set. It now grants 5% damage per stack instead of versatility, which was actually something I thought was a bit odd when they were first revealed. 5% versatility is significantly stronger than just 5% damage. Paladins have almost a whole new round of set bonuses. Holy was changed to Holy Shock increases the crit chance of spells by 4% for 10 seconds, and then the 4 set is now Holy Light, Flash of Light, Light of Dawn, and Bestow Faith Healing increased by 6%, and then their crits increase the damage or healing of your next Holy Shock by 20%. Protection saw a small buff. The 2 set is now 5% verse for 10 seconds, up from 4% for 4 seconds. And then Ret has new set bonuses too. The 2 set is now a straight damage increase to Judgment, Blade of Justice, and Wake of Ashes, and the 4 set is now a flat damage increase to Templar's Verdict, Final Verdict, or Divine Storm. Priests actually saw quite a few nerfs here. For Disc, their 4 set was reduced down to 60% and 18% increase, down from 130% increases. Holy 4 set was reduced to 10% crit for 6 seconds, from 15% crit for 8 seconds, and Shadow had both bonuses nerfed. 2 set is now 12% per stack from 20% per stack, and the 4 set haste bonus is 4% down from 5%. Shamans have a nice round of changes too. For Elemental, both 2-piece and 4-piece work with Elemental Blast if taken. That's always nice to see. The The 2 set now increases damage by 5% stacking 5 times instead of 2.5% stacking 10 times, so the same overall increase, but you stack it up much faster. And then the 4 set increases mastery by 8% for 5 seconds, down from 10% for 10 seconds. For enhancement, the 2 set now affects all Fire, Frost and Nature direct damage abilities with Flame Shock excluded, and then the 4 set has been changed. Consuming Maelstrom stacks increases your haste by 1% for each stack consumed for 4 seconds. And then Resto Shaman 4 set has also been replaced with a simple crit buff. You heal for 215% with crits instead of the usual 200%. A bit of an odd set bonus, but we'll see how it goes. Destruction Warlocks actually saw a similar change. Their 4 set is now a simple crit damage buff too, so you deal 208% damage with crits instead of 200%. And then the last set bonus change was to Prot Warrior. The free Ignore Pain will be 5% of damage dealt, down from 10% of damage dealt, so that was slashed in half as well. So we're not only seeing class tuning, but they're tuning and actually completely changing set bonuses already. These were just revealed, so I'm surprised that they've completely replaced quite a few of them. For the most part, the replacements seem to be for the better, and then the nerfs are just more nerfs, sadly. Hopefully everyone ends up with a tier set bonus that is at least somewhat exciting while providing a good performance increase for your chosen role. It's never a good feeling to get your 2 set or even your 4 set bonus equipped, and for it to do almost nothing for your class, so I'm glad to see the dev team paying close attention to sets as the beta weeks go by. But with the set bonus changes and the class changes we just went over, quite a few classes have been nerfed significantly this week overall. Now moving on, we also have information about the intended changes for Mythic Plus rewards, which let them scale even higher to reward you with even better loot. So the first change is to increase the item level of rewards from both the end of dungeon chest as well as the weekly vault. So from these charts you can see the old item level on the left with a new item level on the right. Rewards have increased quite a bit in the middle keys and also in a lot of the higher keys. The other major change is that rewards will now continue to increase for plus 19 and plus 20 keys. So the cap for Mythic Plus rewards is actually going to come from a plus 20 key in Dragonflight, which is quite a bit higher than the previous cap of a plus 15. This will reward players who push further into Mythic Plus and also give a reason for more players to try and push past those plus 15 marks. If you're interested how this compares to raid gear, end of dungeon loot can now go up to mid-level heroic raid gear, while the weekly box rewards go all the way up to 421, which is mid-level mythic gear. So that's a touch higher than their previous max rewards. But on top of all of this, Blizzard finally filled in a key blank spot from the last round of updates we talked about, Valor and upgrade ranks. We don't really know how this is going to work without the upgrade ranks that we're going to see. We now have a chart for how Valor upgrade ranks are going to work and what item level they are going to drop at, as well as what rating they will require. So we have another rank at the top, so we take that all the way up to a max of 13, and that will be item level 415 for this very first season. That's actually the baseline Mythic raid level of gear. That's where Mythic raid gear starts in Season 1, 415. So you can get up to 405s from the dungeon itself if you go up to a plus 20, but then you can use Valor to upgrade those items to 415, which is a huge upgrade for Mythic Plus rewards. The only caveat is that you will have to be pushing those plus 20 keys to maximize your potential rewards, but I think that's kind of the point here. Plus 15s are just as valuable as they were previously by the looks of these new charts, but you can now earn better rewards if you push higher keys. That's pretty much what every avid Mythic Plus Dungeoneer has been asking for since Mythic Plus was added into the game. With these updates in place, you can get higher Mythic raid gear from the weekly vault, and you can also upgrade to base Mythic raid gear all from just running dungeons. Another good piece of news is that the Mythic Plus testing has finally started on the beta. It's only for this weekend and it's only 2 dungeons, but at least we're getting somewhere and we can finally see how Thundering looks so far. It's not looking good so far, but they did say quite a few times that Thundering is a work in progress, so expect to see many changes over the next few weeks, and hopefully Mythic Plus testing will open up considerably more. But that's all of the changes that were hotfixed into the beta, including those massive class nerfs, a lot of changes for set bonuses, and some extra details regarding the Mythic Plus reward structure as we head into Dragonflight. How do you feel about rewards scaling all the way up to plus 20 keys and rewarding you with Mythic raid gear from doing Mythic Plus dungeons? What do you think of these massive nerfs, and do you think they were deserved? Leave all your thoughts in the comment section below. A big thank you to all of our supporters over on Patreon and everyone subscribed on Twitch. You can see the names floating by on screen. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you never miss another video. Thanks for watching folks, good luck and have fun, and as always I will see you next time.